So we are here today with my friend Renata. Many of you who might have had a session with me might have been referred to her amazing healing abilities. So I wanted to have Renata talk to you today about anxiety and a way to overcome it, because with so much constantly changing in the world, we all need a different technique, a new way to help with anxiety. So I'll turn it over to you, Renata.
Thank you, Amy. So anxiety is something that we all experience, right? And it is a way the brain is interpreting reality, right? It's not necessarily that something is happening right now and we are anxious about it. It is most likely something we are thinking about the past, right? Or it's a projection of what's going to happen in the future that really builds up that anxiety in us. So it takes us away from the present. It takes us away from right now. And right now is the only place that we can actually respond to life.
Absolutely.
So a state of anxiety is taking away from our ability to be practical, to respond to the things that needs our attention. Yeah. And in a way, it's a huge energy drain. Because even though in anxiety, we're not really being practical and effective in our actions, we are putting so much attention into it that it really drains our energy. So not very useful, right? And so I'm going to share with you one of my very simple and effective techniques to reset the brain, to bring the brain back to the present moment, and to help it disconnect from the energy drain of a thought process of projection, past, future, and just settle into the now, what needs our attention right now.
That sounds awesome. I'm excited to try it.
And this technique is very simple. Like I said, we're going to just use our hands and our breathing to create a shift in the brain. And the more you do it, the more effective it becomes, because it has this cumulative effect. We all have so many stressors in our lives, and that stresses out the brain. It breaks some connections, it lowers blood circulation in some areas. So there's a lot to be repaired in most brains. So the more you do it, the more you're going to start feeling the effects of repairing and reconnecting everything in the brain.
Perfect. Now, is there a certain time that you recommend people do this, or is there, do you do it on a daily basis? What would you recommend?
I would recommend some time that you can remember, like in the shower or right before going to bed, or something that you do every day that will trigger you. Oh yeah, let me take a couple of minutes to do this, right? And after you are used to doing it, or even during the time that you're just practicing it daily, you can certainly do it when you need it. So when an anxiety attack's coming, or it doesn't even have to be an attack, it can be just subtle anxiety and you're just feeling the discomfort of it. It's actually even better the earlier you can catch, right? You can do it. And that will be nice because you'll be able to see the difference, like, oh, wow, I'm much more present, much more peaceful. So you can definitely use it when needed.
Perfect. Okay.
And you can do it more than once too. If you feel like, oh, I could use a couple more times to really settle in and feel centered, you can certainly repeat the process.
Great.
So we're going to use our two hands to do this. One hand is going to bridge the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And the other hand is going to do a gentle form of tapping. Okay. When we tap, we're going to tap the head for 1 or 2 breaths. Then we're going to tap the heart for 1 or 2 breaths. And then we're going to tap the belly for 1 or 2 breaths. Okay. Now I'm going to speed up the process a little bit, so we're not taking, too long to complete it, but you can take as long as you need in each hand position. Okay. So we're going to start by placing our hands on the very back of our heads, where the head meets the neck. And our intention, our focus is bridging right and left hemispheres, getting blood circulating, get the drainage of the cerebral fluid going, but just that connecting right and left brain is good. And then we tap the head, taking deep breaths. We tap the heart. And we tap the belly. And then we're going to move the hand one position up and do the same thing. Take a deep breath, tapping the head, tapping the heart, and tapping the belly. We're tapping the 3 centers of the nervous system. And then we're going to continue moving the hand forward. How many positions really depends on the size of your head and the size of your hand, right? You just need to cover the entire brain, making sure you're taking deep breaths. Then moving forward with your hand, tapping, so you're tapping on both sides of the head at the same time, the heart and the belly. We have one more position until we reach the eyebrows. We're gonna take a deep breath on the head as we tap, heart, and the belly. And then we have one final position, which is the sides of our brains. So find a connection between your right and left hand. So just feeling that connection there. And then you can release the hands and tap the head and the heart. And the belly. Just notice how you feel.
I definitely feel more grounded. I feel more present in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to hear from you guys what you feel. You'll be able to see down below the link to Renata's website and just information about her. Thank you so much, Renata. This has just been so lovely. I so appreciate it. Have a good day.
My pleasure.